What's up, my dog?
Okay, that's everything.
You're gonna leave that in there? Baby.
To let us know when to time it.
Yeah.
Now
You want to do it again?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see it. I'm sure we'll see it on there.
Action.
I'm cheating too much.
Dude.
Oh, let me get the sound right, too. What it is, my dog?
Dude, we're here, bro. We're here.
This is tight.
This is everything. It's been such a long time trying to get here.
This is tight. Okay, there we go. That's good. I can turn my gain a little bit. Maybe not that much. Okay, yeah, because I have it turned down, and we can turn up the mic volume later on if we needed to.
I think so, right?
Yeah. This is good for me, I think. Okay, hold on. Let me get to you. You check it out. Test. How do you think it sounds?
Test. Yeah, it sounds good to me. I like it. I just gotta keep it close to my mouth. If it's right there, it's good.
Yeah, if it came on close to you, I think it sounds good.
Yeah, yours was fine, I thought.
Yeah, I think it sounds fine. We don't even need those headphones per se.
We don't need them. It'd be nice to have them.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have it. But yeah, we just need 2 pairs of headphones next. I guess we could do.
I can just bring those next time.
Where were we gonna plug them in at though? Because I guess this doesn't have an auxiliary cord for the laptop, yeah. I think there's just one auxiliary right here on the Scarlett. I don't think we have 2.
Maybe I can get a splitter for that.
Yeah, have 2.
Yeah, and then just plug the headphones into both of the splitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be tight.
Well, we wouldn't have had that anyways today, even if I brought my headphones. So.
Yeah.
Oh, such a burden off my shoulders.
Nice, bro. Hell yes. This is what's up. This is episode 1, episode 0.1, whatever it is. 0.1, 1.0.
Dame time.
Everywhere. Dame time, game time. We in the
You know what's up? Yeah.
Yes, bro. This is tight.
This is nice.
It took so much. But I guess it isn't. I guess it looks like a lot. All we really need is a laptop as far as like without the audio or the visual portion of it. Like all the cameras and stuff, that was a whole separate thing. If we just wanted to record a podcast, I would need like a laptop.
Yeah.
We just needed the Mac.
We just had a vision for it.
It was just hard to do with the Windows.
Yeah, it was harder than it needed to be for sure.
Yeah, but I think the cameras are necessary. I think it's necessary.
We just had, because we've done podcasts that were just audio. We were kind of like past that in our own mind. Or like the cost value equation was like, it's only worth it if we get it to this level. So we just waited till we could get it to this level to actually be doing it week to week.
Yeah.
So I think some people think maybe like this podcast would be like out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Or like we're trying something new. But in another sense, we podcasted for like the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I guess, we will have the first episode, but the first episode took 20 years to make.
Yeah, seriously. Or like even just in the backseat of a car being a kid, we were like podcasting kind of.
Yeah, just talking about life, talking about what we're thinking about.
But we also had like a gym podcast, like a legitimate gym podcast, a legitimate
We did do that, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
A couple episodes just talking about different fitness stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, all that stuff I even said back then was like, it's still true. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure. We started off super basic.
It holds water now.
Like, you want to build strength, heavier weight,
do these things,
lower reps. You know what I'm saying? We're doing like super simple stuff at sometimes.
Yeah, long rest time, calories in, calories out. Super simple like that.
Clearly, you know what you're talking about.
You're doing something
Clearly,
right.
you know what you're talking about. No, just kidding.
Now, hence the visual necessity.
Had to get it in there. So here we are.
Yes,
America.
So tight.
And beyond borders. Hopefully worldwide.
Yeah, don't pigeonhole us to America.
I can't. It wouldn't be true because we have big pops in Finland and in India in the past month. It'd just be wrong.
Yes, bro. Yeah, bro. I'm super excited for all the Spotify. It doesn't really matter like where the play comes from. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all.
Plays all pay out the same.
Dude,
as streams.
That's what I'm saying. If it gets to a point where
pay out the same.
We can get enough streams that it's infusing $300 or $400 a month into our budget. That's fucking tight, bro.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's the first step of like getting to. So people want to like work less days so that they can have their hobby going, but you also need to make more money so that you can have your hobby going. Like the first step to having that like thing happen is where you get like 1 unit of measurement of money from your passion project, and then you can start using that to like pay for your day off. So you're not at a deficit anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that.
Once that ball is rolling, then like I think it goes like exponentially upward. Hopefully.
Yeah, keep on reinvesting or keep on channeling the money back into the business.
Yeah, until you're P Diddy.
To the plant, to the flower. You know what I'm saying? You gotta water everything. Yeah, feed it.
Yeah, P Diddy was talking about. I saw this video. I want to get to a point where I'm like, and it's the video of P Diddy right here for you. He's like, "Why are you talking to me? I pay so many people so I don't have to work Do you know do you know how insulting it is for you to come to me and ask me to work when I pay 50 people so I don't have to work? It's like, what do you want? And he's like, I want to walk around my house that I spent my whole life making. It's pretty hard, but I guess
what is the song?
It was just like an Instagram video about like it was like P Diddy's mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or about like I guess what was the P Diddy clip from? Like one of the shows?
No, it was like I don't know exactly because it was like literally in his house. So did he have a TV show at some point?
I know he was doing the band, making the band or something like that. Where he made some like.
Well, maybe it could have not have been. It seemed like it was a genuine clip of him, but maybe it could have been more scripted than I thought. You know what I'm saying?
I think that show was pretty real. You know what I'm saying?
Both. But at any rate,
I wouldn't doubt that that's like a genuine mindset that he keeps.
Yeah, for sure, right?
For sure.
Or even if you just lose.
If I'm that rich, I'm paying that many people. Like, bro, I spent so much money to avoid this.
Yeah, I'm sure at some points it does feel like that. You're like, why are you talking to me about rocks? I have a gardener.
Come on now.
Come on, bro.
About this.
Yeah, but same thing for yourself though. You make your money work for you. That's like the best, right?
Yes.
Get enough streams that we have money working towards more streams to make more money, working towards more streams.
Take some of that money and put it into advertisements to make more streams.
Yeah, but you got to get the first to make the next so that you can get a cycle.
Yeah, like when Jordan Peterson's talking about, going from 0 to something is way harder than something to more of that thing.
Yeah. Because once the little bit can just start to go, you know.
The little bit will start to pay for itself eventually. We run out the simulation long enough for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, get the proper equipment.
Yes, the equipment. The people will come.
Also, the season.
The people will come.
The season.
You build that they will come.
Please come watch our podcast.
Come on.
Fucking, I don't want to start a sentence with the word fucking, but I did.
Wow.
Still working on my.
There are hypothetical children watching, listening.
Good thing. Are we a rated R podcast? There's definitely a real child probably heard that.
I think it might be funnier whenever they have like the bleeps.
Yeah, the bleeps are funny, right?
It makes it funnier for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Maybe just like on the TikTok posts, we could put the bleeps in, but like on Spotify, no kid is gonna listen to an hour and a half long podcast.
Either way.
If they do, they deserve. They get to hear the curse words.
Okay, facts. That's fine. That's fair. Fair enough. Yes, I think for the social media post, I think it would be.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Quick little edit, just quick little beep on there. Make it funnier. I don't know why. Gotta study that a lot.
It sucks that it seems. I mean, I think that this sucks, but also just an observation that I've had that you have to basically be a content creator if you're an artist. It's so hard to be an artist and not be a content creator today. That's like should be two different jobs. Mm-hmm. Should be like someone who learns how to like paint or like write music, and then there should be someone who learns how to hack Instagram algorithms and stuff and earn proprietary resource from like what's available. But no, if you're the artist, you gotta do both, or you're kind of fucked. You're never gonna make any money. Yeah. At least if you're not capable of doing both, you need to find someone who is and delegate that and pay someone else to do it. I mean, golly, I guess some artists have money, but like I'm always talking to the starving artists. Like ain't no starving artists can pay for a guy to run his social media. You know what I'm saying? No. That's tough.
You need to do both, cousin.
Yeah, you gotta do both.
Sorry, brother and sister.
Yeah, but there's this video of Nipsey Hussle. I should go play it for you right there. He's like, sometimes, man, you gotta understand, man, that like this thing's a burden, man. It's a lot. It's a job with overtime that you didn't always ask for. And like, if you can embrace that and love that and catch some wisdom off that, then that's what it's about. I was just like, true, man. If even Nipsey Hussle's like, dude, sometimes this is too much. Yeah.
It's a lot. Being alive is a lot. Existing is a lot, man.
For sure.
We put up our masks, or not masks per se, but like put up the veil of simplicity, something to make it understandable. Yeah,
that is what we do, is veil it with simplicity, because our brain wants to. It'd be convenient if it was simple.
Yeah, it's like we have to be able to take things for granted and be able to disregard things, or be able to regard things as disregardable, or be able to regard things as arbitrary or irrelevant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because that requires less neurons to fire for less calories to be used. So less.
It's like, because if you're super hyper aware of everything, it's always, you're tripping on everything. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So much going on. What's happening? So much to worry about.
That's like not optimal, right? So your body doesn't want to do that.
No,
it's like simplify.
We need to irrelevant some of this so we can focus on what's happening. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a whole thing. It's beautiful, though. It's beautiful. Didn't really ask for it, necessarily. But I don't know. Who knows about like the past life and the previous life? You know what I'm saying? Maybe we signed up for this. Maybe we're like this. We like enlisted. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely mildly
We're
possible.
going into the spiritual war.
Yeah.
War hymns. War hymns.
You just dive into a baby and start fighting like the good fight.
You jump into a portal and it's like that portal's a vagina. whatever spirit world we're in.
Yeah, that's tight.
Whatever non-human form we're in.
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
It's like we need to go fight. We need to fight the fight to restore order here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no telling what's going on out there.
Yeah,
and this is reality. This scenario. No telling what kind of war is going on out there because you have to regard it lightly because you don't know. Like you don't know for sure that you didn't choose this.
Yeah, there's no telling.
There's no telling. And sometimes life is super great, right? So like that's why you gotta be super grateful when life sucks because it's easy to be like, well, I didn't want any of this. It's like maybe you did though. You don't know.
Bullshit. I didn't want this.
You're not sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's part of the contract. You don't remember anything.
Yeah, right. You signed an NDA on yourself. And then you would be then the film of you later when you're like in the back to the before life or the afterlife, whatever way it is, and you're in the human form and you're like watching yourself say, I didn't want to do any of this. It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be rough to watch yourself.
Or it might just be funny. I hope it's just funny. I hope we just laugh at
Find some
ourselves.
humor in it.
Yeah.
I think that's part of what happens. I think you have to watch your human life
Oh yeah.
as the thing. You know what I'm saying? Knowing or like whatever afterwards.
Just like a
Watch how
football
silly you were.
game.
Just watch this. Watch this whole thing. Watch this whole movie from start to finish.
It's tough.
Might be tough. It could be awesome.
It could be awesome.
It could be amazing. It could be great.
Everyone does cringe moments. That's where I branched out. But yeah, ideally it's like
Everyone has cringe moments if they watch their own movie.
Yeah,
you
for
should
sure.
at least if you have shame.
Yeah.
Which a little bit more shame might be good.
just a little bit might help.
Touch might help some people.
You might get a little more agency in your life if you had a little more
Yeah,
shame.
you might stop saying some of the things you might just so off the cuff say to people. You know what I'm saying?
That puts up walls you don't get through.
Like, man, you need some more shame in your life, man. That was gross. Or
Yeah.
offensive, or like just not funny, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the situation calls for. Or whatever they were trying to add to it. It's like, trying too much, man.
And some people are just kind of gross natured. Or like they don't have that balance in them.
Mm-hmm.
They have like this like a groove in their rhythm, and then sometimes people like express that groove to you because it's like their own brain's trying to tell them like you need to fix this, and then they're like, no, don't watch. I can be in front of everybody, and nobody even says anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Those people are courteous.
Yeah.
You're an asshole. They're being nice.
For real, but I think that's the thing that's like projection. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a thing that happens.
But also I think that could be like a downfall. Or I think that is a downfall in some people, like the being too nice and too socially courteous. You know what I'm saying? To give some people not privacy per se, but like.
Because you don't want to be a dick.
To live and let live, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like that is I think a good core axiom to live on, live and let live. But like if you're living and letting live, and then like, but someone else is like kind of taking advantage of that to some degree.
That's what happens.
They'll overstep their bounds into how outrageous or how offensive or how whatever they can be, pushy or argumentative or cocky or whatever. They'll push their flaw or their personality trait over the bounds. And yeah, because Steve Watch, no one's gonna say anything. It's like, you're an asshole.
It's tough. It's necessary. Jordan
They
Peterson.
lack the objective looking in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or they need to hear it, or
Sorry, what were we gonna say about Jordan Peterson?
that's like one of the key metas of his book is like gain the teeth to be able to say like no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think part of what sprouted that idea was coming to the idea of Jordan, or what I just said, tied to the idea of Jordan Peterson saying the only thing that keeps the psychopaths at bay is like strong aggressive psychopaths. There's like strong aggressive not psychopaths, like
Yeah.
Jocko and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Those are the motherfuckers that keep the motherfucking snakes, like the lethal snakes, in line. It's not being soft. You don't.
That's just not gonna help.
No, you need to be harder.
Nothing.
It's like, no, you don't just talk them down sometimes. You need to be able to be the stronger steel.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
The stronger iron, or whatever metaphor.
I think this looks like a counter argument. Just like disagreement. It just looks like disagreement. I don't think disagreement's like a sin, you know what I'm saying? Or a bad thing at all.
Nah.
I think when you don't disagree and you do disagree, like that's closer to a sin than disagreeing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Whenever you do oppose, but you go along instead anyway, just to get along.
Yeah, exactly. Just to get along. Because there's some benefit. It's like less stressful or like, you're cool with that guy. So even though you disagree, you're not gonna say anything because like there's benefit to that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But like,
That happened to me like the other day, or like for because Gabby, I guess, my girlfriend's sister who lives with us knows, or I guess not knows, but like talked to this guy who was like had asked her to do our yard. Because it was like, I was like, hi. He's like, obviously not a cut yard. Because
it was new. Come to the eye, everybody.
You need some help? You need some help over there, bro? Like, yeah, please.
Sure,
go ahead. I know. I'm on my lawn.
So it's I feel you.
So some guy I don't know doing my yard or whatever, and then he asks, or he like his lawnmower like breaks down or something goes wrong with it, so he can't finish. He only finishes like 75% of the whole thing front and back. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna get it checked out or whatever, and I'll be back tomorrow and I'll finish it up. And I was like, okay. And then I think I was gonna pay him like $45 for both front and back. But then I just gave him $40 for that day, and then he came back the next day, and I gave him the $5. But then he was just like I gave him the $5, and then he was like, "Oh, you'd only give me $20, or something like that." Or he like I forget the verbiage, but something like, "You owe me an extra $20." And I was just like, "No, I don't. I don't at all. I gave you $40 yesterday for sure." He's like, "No, it was $20," and I was like, "No, it was two 20s like folded on top of each other." You know what I'm saying? So, like, I could have, a less confrontational me, or, you know what I'm saying? Could have just been like, "Oh, here you go, sir, my bad."
Dude, even just hearing this story, my heart picked up a couple beats.
Right? It's like,
you can see the chemistry in my body. I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't have to...
Confrontation.
At first, I was like, well, you probably just gave him the $20, right? like, instinctually, that's like everybody's...
Yeah, that's how you settle that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's only $20, man. Come on, let's give $20. It's only $20, man. Come on.
That's where you live. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know Cat was a little sketched out after that moment. I was like, I had that confrontation with him, babe. I need to stay around the house a little bit.
Yeah, you do, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a dog. Like, you'd walk around the yard a little bit.
I was like, because we were going to go somewhere after that. Like, after I had this transaction, we needed to go do something because we were kind of pressed for time to get back to work, to do whatever we had to go do, to, like, leave in time for work. So, like, yeah, we left the house to go do something. I guess we had to go drop off Jazz, and then we had to come back and get ready for work. Or we were going to go to HEB or something. But before going to HEB, I was like, I want to swing by the house real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, just I don't know. Yeah, just a little peace of mind.
Yeah.
Just a little peace of mind. I was like, I got a nice laptop in there.
Yeah.
I got a real nice laptop in there.
And thinking with your instincts, you know what I'm saying? Let me tap home base. Because the other thing about tapping home base is, like, if anybody is watching it or in there or trying to get away from being in there, you catch them in that moment. And then you also put, like if some, like... Now the block's hot. It's like, it's not a good opportunity for anybody to go in there. You just patrolled. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might be coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly he's on the lookout. Like, he's aware. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I feel like, I don't know if you really have to be that precautious, but, like, being not precautious isn't the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's way better to be overly precautious than under.
Yeah, for sure.
And get just...
Son of a bitch, man.
By the fucking... By the flood.
Oh, yeah.
Better to have a life raft always on deck, ready to go, just in case it starts raining.
No, because I will. You might think you wouldn't have to do that. Some people are like, no, come on, man. But like, dude, yeah, I had like the money stolen out of my wallet. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
like that.
Nick got his window broken.
It's crazy, bro.
Like, parked in the parking lot. Mine at work. You know what I'm saying? Just
crazy, bro.
Break your window.
So like,
it happens. Chaos is out there. The block is hot. The block gets hot.
It gets hot. You gotta be careful.
Chaos is, you know what I'm saying, popping up at a rapid rate. The rate, I think, just like increases and decreases, but like it's always there. Chaos is always just popping up.
For sure.
And sometimes it's just like.
I think you can like insulate yourself with a lot of love and like good karma and like
a lot of love and good karma.
You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of
Just like you can
insulate it.
You can walk blindly. If you just have love shades on, there could be 20 villains in the room. They all wanted to rob you, and you didn't even see a single one.
Yeah, and you just like maneuvered perfectly through them. You're like, oh, let me go pick up that trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That perfectly maneuvered just through. Oh, spin move, bitch.
Yeah, like if you sometimes it's just like being on that like perfect path. You know what I'm saying? Just like living your day like innocently in a sense, where you're just like just trying to do your best.
Yeah.
That's like that thing takes you right through all the danger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you avoid the pitfalls.
But then, I think I noticed it the same way. Like I eat healthy for the most part, so when I eat unhealthy, I really feel it. You know what I'm saying? But at first, when I ate a lot of fast food all the time, I didn't really feel bad after I ate fast food. But
really, that one?
Yeah.
CBDs.
But now, because I don't really eat fast food, now when I do, I feel it in my stomach, and I'm like, oh, that food's not good for me. So then now, like sometimes whenever I I just make mistakes sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I slip up or I go against something in my own code or like I deem something a wrong decision and then I did it anyways. And then I feel like the bad thing happens. Like it's like maybe it's because I do it to myself in my own head too, but it's like I'm vulnerable now in that moment.
Oh,
and then I get hit sometimes in my vulnerability because I like didn't get lucky after I'd fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times like my own flaws open my bulletproof window. And then sometimes the sniper's right there waiting for me. It was like, gotcha, bitch. And I'm like, ah. And I got to take a hard L.
For a second.
I fucked up once today.
For a second.
It'd be like that, and I'm bleeding out. I need to rest.
Yeah, the ops are on the ops are on the patrol, bro.
For real, it's crazy.
People be out there.
And it's even just like, it's in nature. It's just fucking... It's like a flat tire or a nail in the road, too. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
Random chaotic bullshit.
Yeah, bro. It'll just happen to you.
Like, someone will just, like, back into your car. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or someone will, like... A chain domino effect of reactions of things happening to each other will, like, put you in a shitty position.
Because it's all so random, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like...
How could I have helped with any of that?
Nothing.
Nothing you could have really done.
Nothing, bro.
It's just time to take an L today.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Everyone, you're going to live your life, and you're going to live it in... You probably have, like, a couple thousand L's. A couple thousand L's. That's just one of them.
Seriously, yeah.
Everyone's due a couple thousand L's.
Yeah.
But I think I made this point, or like I mentioned this to you the other day. Like I think sometimes your L's can be timed, or like if you're doing it right, walking through like with the love shades on and like acting in the right way with the best intentions, you'll be able to. Even your L's will be like timed perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, because I've experienced that a couple times where I'll have even like just the other day, like I got sick at like the end of my shift, going into like sleep, and then like waking up and having like being off the next 2 days to like recover from being like sick, or like a little stomach bug for 24 hours or like 16. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A little short being sick period, but like I'm gonna get sick. Like that's just like the name of the game.
Yeah.
you're a human. You're gonna get sick eventually.
For sure, dude. It sucks because sometimes you go like a year without being sick, and you're like
years sometimes.
I'm limitless.
I went years. I went a couple of years without being sick at all. I went like multiple years, like 3 years solid.
It's impressive.
Not sick at all.
You were in college at that time, right?
No, I think I was just out of college, maybe a couple of years out of college, like a year or two.
Were you overexposed to germs or super underexposed to germs? I feel like both of those help you not get sick.
It was probably underexposed because I think at that point I was working at Capitol, where it was just me, Charlie, and Dave.
Same people, same germs.
People every day.
They're not partying like crazy.
They're in their 60s. They're fat chilling, bro. Yeah, so like, I came into like direct contact with like 3 people, and those people came into direct contact with like probably 4 people each. So it was like, you know, I'm really, but like nowadays being a server, I come into direct contact with hundreds of people every day.
Hundreds, yeah, hundreds every day.
Every day.
You know what I'm saying? It's like thousands a week.
Every day. So yeah, I guess, but yeah, during that time, I guess I was working over there. And like it was a solid 3 years where I wasn't sick at all. Never got sick once. But like, yeah, I just got sick the other day. But like, it was timed perfectly to where it was like I didn't really get hit by it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like have to miss any work or have to like miss any obligations or like.
Dude, that's crazy. Because sometimes it's like you're trying to work a couple doubles so you can make rent, and you get sick that weekend.
Yeah, you get sick.
You know what I'm saying?
I need to pick up a double on Saturday because rent's due on Monday. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you get sick that Friday, Saturday.
Dude, yeah. I mean, like my heart breaks a little bit just even thinking about that.
That shit happens.
But that shit happens.
It's like you gotta get sick. And then, like, the devil stacks it with an L. You know what I'm saying? So you have to get sick sometimes, and you have to lose money sometimes. But sometimes the devil's able to, like, double the intensity. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it worked out for me
the intensity.
In the sense where, like, I did lose, like, $500. But at the same time, work told me, like, they basically denied my request to have more time off. So it was, like... It almost didn't. I was like,
work those extra couple days anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
Need those extra couple days.
It's like, fine. And then it was like, also try not to be paying people a lot of money to take your shifts anymore. And I was like, well, don't really have the money to be taking time off anyways if I want to compensate. Because in my own mind, when I take an L, it's like you need to keep going on your path and you need to like compensate.
We need a scoop and score here somehow.
Somehow we need a 2-point play or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we need a 2-point conversion here somehow. We need 1-point conversion ain't gonna do it.
No, we need some kind of swing. And so. Then I worked like 10 days on a 14-day paycheck, and then it was like a really busy. And then I also switched because I didn't work the Sunday that was the Super Bowl, and that was a slow day. And
that was a terrible Sunday. So yeah, you got a big, probably plus 200 swing on that.
Crazy,
plus
right?
At least,
At least, bro.
Good swing.
So I feel like I don't know. Yeah, like it was an L, but it also kept me. It was like I feel like God personally. I feel like God found a way to take that L, and like I needed a little.
Use it as a tightener.
Yeah, I needed
a screwdriver.
I was like, okay, fine.
He's like, I'm gonna take this L. This L is actually an Allen wrench.
Yeah, that's exactly what I needed it to get through that 2 weeks. It was tough.
L's into Allen wrenches and tighten me up. That's tight as fuck.
Really hard.
That's tight.
Really hard. That's the magic, baby. We might have to edit that out. That's crazy.
But yes, I feel like that happens. But sometimes the devil can give you an L at a time where you're already supposed to be taking a hit anyway, just like through the natural fluctuations of being human.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can take it in stride well enough.
Mm-hmm. And then you gotta have the ability to flip the situation on its head sometimes.
On its head allows you access into doors that you don't perceive yourself being able to walk through.
Open up.
They open up. You can. Yeah, it's really tight. I like, sometimes it's just like commitment and embrace are ways to put a situation on its head. Because like sometimes people think like your level of commitment is here, but then like, so like at work, for instance, I like wanted this time off, but then also like they were trying to like bring new employees in. And then in my own mind, I was like, I'm really protective of that environment because it's like a home to me in a sense. I'm there so much.
Oh my God, yeah.
I love those people.
I guess it's like we spend more time there than anywhere else, I guess. Aside from sleeping. If you take away sleeping.
It's the time I spent committed to a goal. Like, besides us, I mean, well, us is all the time, but, like, I don't get to actually, like, slave away at us very much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the actual amount of hours worked towards somebody's goal, go to that place. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's, like, my team, or that's, like, my family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, so then I put that situation on its head by overcommitting even more. I was like, no, I'm willing to like work more hours to not let new people who are bad into our environment, because like the answer to me working less time isn't hire shitty people. Like, and then it just put it on its head. It's like, oh, this guy's so committed, it's ridiculous. It was like they weren't gonna let me have that time off anyways, but then like me, instead of just being like sour about it, like finding a way to turn that into a bargaining chip for like more love in the situation, like a way to keep bettering what's going on, because all I'm trying to do is go upward. So it was like flipping the plane on its head. It was like, okay, yeah. I'm down to stay even more to make this place even better, because that's how much I care.
Yeah.
And then it was like, this guy's insane.
He's not gonna stop.
He's not gonna stop.
He's not gonna stop.
So yeah, it was like just put the situation on its head through commitment and embrace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think embracing is a big part of it for sure. You gotta be, I guess, because once you're able to embrace it, then I think from that embraced place, you're able to gain new clarity and gain new perspective to be able to turn it on its head.
Yeah.
You're like, because like fighting it is just so natural, you know. So you're like, fuck this, man. Fuck that shit, man. That shit sucks, man. It's like, yes, it sucks.
I don't want it to be like that.
Yeah. It's like, I wish it wasn't like this, man.
I want it to be like it was.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's fucking not, okay?
Yes.
So once you accept that and, like, embrace that and, like, put that on, like, okay, it's not anymore, okay? It's not the same thing anymore. Now I need a new thing. I need to, because that puts your mind onto, like, you're fishing in the fucking universe for
like
ideas.
problem solving.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, bam, got something that I never thought of before. You know what I'm saying? Based on this new perspective I have to take in looking at this thing that I've been looking at, because it's not the same thing anymore. And now that it's like, it's like, here's my life, and I'm trying to put the same mask on it that I've been putting on my life the whole time, but now like it won't fit anymore for some reason. It's like I need to change it out. You change it out.
Yeah.
But
you can design the new mask.
You get so upset that it doesn't fit anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's so much work, man.
And it's like a TV show.
You need to change all of that.
I loved that TV show. I fell in love with those characters. I know the lines. Like, I don't want to watch a new show. It's like, dog. It's like, you gotta just do it. Just do it. Especially with life, because you can just design your new mask.
You have to embrace it.
Yeah.
Embracing it's like, I guess because the alternative is embrace it or deny it. Refuse.
But denial is just negative charged emotion. If you embrace it, you can become the protagonist of the situation.
You could.
On its head, dog. Yeah.
180, bro. Denzel.
Yeah, you can't Denzel if
you can't embrace it.
If you're sitting on your ass about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you can't embrace it. Accepting.
Plus, there's like accessibility in a situation.
At least accepting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
You don't have to. I guess embrace could be like construed as a kind of loving or like a strong word, but it's like at least accept it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Another way to think about it are like just different because it's a metaphysical thing we're talking about. I use it like in a lot of places, like in the gym, for instance. Like if you can just like embrace that it sucks. Like sometimes Julian's like, this sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I love the suck.
Yeah, it does. Bet your ass.
Yeah, for real. And like just that feeling, what that does to my brain chemistry is like at first your brain is like, ow, ow, I don't like this, I don't like this, ugh, how much is left, how much is left. Like you start trying to like parcel out time units. It's like okay, it's only like an hour and this one's like 10 minutes, so just like don't think about it for like 10 minutes, and then we'll segment out the next 10 minutes how I get through that one. Whatever the fuck you do, whatever pussy ass bitch shit you do, bro, to get through time. Not me, I'm not talking about Julian either. I brought him up, but like when he says this sucks, he's being like ironic, you know what I'm saying? Like we're saying it for the lulz. But like in my own bitch mind, when I first started, I definitely was like a bitch, like I just described.
I want to be done.
I want to be done. I hate this.
I want to be done more than I want to keep going.
So bad. Dude.
Way more than I want to keep going. I didn't even want to get started.
I can't believe I'm here. Yeah. I can't believe I'm doing this. No, but whenever I'm like, I came here to do something that sucks. Like, do it. Like, you're here for that suck. Like,
that's what you came here for.
Yeah, different brain chemistry happens where I feel like goal completion is happening every time I do a set. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I came for. I got it. You're doing it. Like, way to stick to the plan. Way to be committed. And then it becomes like, okay, there's only so much left. You only got a little bit left. You might as well go crazy hard since you're here and we're doing it and you came to suck.
There is an end. The end is right there.
It's right there. You're going to be out of here very soon. And then like it's just such a different experience than the first mindset gives you. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
Through like the embrace of like, just I don't know. Something stops happening when you embrace it too. Like for me, it's like I feel like I hit a crazy switch. Like when work is going nuts and I'm just like, sky's falling down. It's war. The cannons are going out. Like, like all of a sudden I'm no longer tied down by the same chemistry that is like what is me fearing what's happening. Like now I'm in the war zone and I can move. It's like go, like operate on instinct and just like handle what's happening in front of you. Whether before you're just like in that anxiety state of worry about what's gonna happen, you know what I'm saying? Or like I guess the best place to be is just a zen state where you're just good. Things are happening. I'm doing things if they're happening. That's probably the best state. But I feel like at first it's like it's either anxiety or embrace. And then once you handle anxiety and embrace, you can just come to zen. There is no fork.
Yeah, just be.
You know what I'm saying? Just be
about it. Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is, dog. I'm here. You're here. They're here.
I'm here about it.
That's it, you know?
I'm here about it.
But yeah, it took me embrace to find the zen. And it started with anxiety. I think that's like a common route for people.
Yes. Hell yeah, bro. Absolutely. I think it's very common, very human nature, very kind of like default response.
Yeah.
Because, this shit's crazy.
It's so crazy.
There's so much craziness going on all the time, man. There's so much craziness that you can't. You can spend your entire life thinking about it, and you won't even come close to the amount of craziness that there is.
The amount of craziness in one breath is
so much
fucking nuts.
It's super easy, I feel, to be overwhelmed in regards to anything, financially, physically, like with your health, with your diet, or overwhelmed with relationships or kids or anything.
Yeah.
Cars.
Yeah.
House. You can make anything super complex and super, I guess, open up the window of worry.
Pandora's box.
Yeah, open up Pandora's box of complexity.
Of anything.
And it's like, I don't know what any of this is. There's so much of it. It's everywhere. It's sticky.
I can't read these instructions. They're not in English.
I don't know Chinese. Yeah, for real.
Seriously, bro. It is like that. That's that's why the urge to simplify is like.
So whenever you're in like a nice place, it's like, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
Whenever you're not overwhelmed with crazy.
Even when I'm just tired, even when I'm like tired is like my only problem. I'm like, golly, yeah, everything's going great. I'm just like tired all the time. Like I'm so thankful. I try to be at least like, dude, that's the only thing you have going on that's wrong is like you're sleepy. Mm-hmm. That's cool. We'll get a nap in eventually.
That's not bad.
It's not bad,
we
bro.
We can remedy that with one nap.
Yeah, seriously. But like, but sometimes I'll be in a state of mind where I'm just like, fucking, I'm so tired. I'm angry all day. I'm just like, golly, this life's kicking my ass. You know, like. I don't know if I can do this forever or like those are the thoughts that I'm like that happens and I instantly tell myself like you're not a bitch, shut the fuck up. Like of course we can do this forever.
Come
like
on, kid.
Instantly turn those thoughts down, but they pop up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they exist.
They exist like those feelings.
Populate. Yeah, that emotion is there.
Yeah.
Or that voice. You know what I'm saying? The voice that it's like tied to that emotion. It gets its say.
Yeah.
It gets its say.
I don't let it talk very much, but it looks at me. He looks at me.
He's like,
hey! Yeah.
Shut up. He still barks. You know what I'm saying? He's a dog.
And I'm like, I ain't worried about him. You know what I'm saying?
Master.
That's the thing, dude, is, yeah, I'm the bitch
dog
trainer.
What'd
you say?
The dog wheezed better.
The dog Lee Sputter?
Whisperer.
The dog Whisperer.
The Lee Sputter.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
forget his name. I don't know. I never watched the show, but
Me neither.
I know South Park made reference to it.
Yeah. But no, in the gym, I feel like I'm just like, my inner bitch is like, I want to stop. And I'm like, shut the fuck up and lift that weight. And like, that's something I'm doing in there is like, there's like this voice of thing that wants to not do it. And I'm diminishing its ability to control what's going on here.
Yeah, to influence the whatever this thing is, the avatar.
That's exactly what it is, though. Minimize its influence on what I actually do every day.
Yeah.
Because it screams sometimes, like, especially when I'm lifting like 2 a.m, and I'm just like, you're insane. Why are we doing this? We have to work and like
I want to sleep.
12 hours you have to be clocking in. But you want to go squat heavyweight.
You
like,
want to go push some legs, son?
And then I'm
Bonkers.
like, hey, you don't have any say about what's going on here, yo. Like,
You don't get to choose.
nah.
You don't get a say around here.
I don't get to choose,
Yeah.
dog. This is what it is, bro. Like, yeah. So that's a lot of
That's true. It's hilarious.
that's a lot of what goes on. Like, I think, or just whenever I'm by myself and I'm like on my mission, like, and I have internal dialogue, or like I'm just thinking about what's going on. Those are like some of the things that I extract from my experience, you know.
Yeah.
I think those are probably common across the board. I think I hear David Goggins talking about his inner bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everyone talks about that. Or
Yeah.
I think everyone knows what you're referring to when you say that. The voice inside of you that wants to stop, or that wants to take the easy way out, or not give 100%, or cut the corners
Yeah,
whenever possible,
of course.
or wants the easy day at work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my gosh. Yes, I hate that one.
That voice
That one
inside of you
makes
that's
me-
just like, I just want a nice and easy day, baby. Let me smooth on. Can you pay me without me doing anything? Is that possible? Are you down for that? What's up?
That voice is.
That voice is a fucking douche, bro. He's the guy just walking through the high school of yourself. You're saying just with a pop jacket, collar, fucking cigarette, just
knocking
throw that
folders
shit
out of people's hands.
Yeah, fucking dare. Chewing gum, 3 bites in, throws that out on the wall.
What do you think I'm gonna fucking work today?
Yeah, it's
Ha!
Boop, throws that in.
Ha! Yeah, that's that voice in our head.
That energy is not. It ain't gonna get you anywhere. It's not gonna do anything.
No. And the problem is that other people's voice will influence your own voice. Like, other people will want to cut corners, and it makes you want to cut corners because someone is there, like,
To validate it, more or less.
yeah, saying like, "Nah, we should do that." Like, amplifying.
Like, that's acceptable.
Yeah. And then you have to not only tell yourself it's not acceptable, but then you have to like vocalize and tell that person it's not acceptable either, which is
Confrontation
a lot
point
more than
potential.
no, it's a lot more than we signed
No
up
one
for.
wants to do that.
It's much easier just to tell that guy, okay, fine, you know.
Mm.
But there's a bigger demon. It's a demon we're fighting, and I won't let it come out of you or me.
It's a spirit.
The spirit has no access here.
That spirit cannot get any light around here, man.
No, I can't let it happen. So that's why sometimes, you know, I am the way I am.
Yeah. I think it's necessary to be that way because sometimes people are going to try to take an extra $20 out of you.
It's crazy.
Whenever they mow your lawn.
It's so funny how I wanted to get back to that one too, man. And you just were just like, nah, motherfucker.
I was like, nah, bro.
It-
He's like,
yeah.
He's like, no, I knew
You
for
were certain.
sure. I knew for sure. Then
Yeah.
I definitely gave him 40 for sure. 100%.
Well, you work hard for that money.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
I just knew. You know what I'm saying? And I agree. Because, okay, so then after he had like asked a couple times and I was like, I doubled down. I was like, no, I definitely did. No, I definitely did. He like tried to, he mentioned something. He said the dialogue he used was like, oh, well, your wife, something. I think he was trying to get around like a roundabout way of saying, oh, like the like not Gabby, but my girlfriend, like because I guess she had interacted with him for a second as well to I guess discuss, because he was initially just going to do like the front yard, but then he was like, I'll do the back too, and she's like, okay, that's fine. And then I guess he was going to roundabout way of trying to say, oh, she had given me the green light, or maybe not green light, but maybe she had like given me less money than like you had given her to give to me or something like that, you know? Like there was like a middleman
Like,
discrepancy
you gave
between
40,
I gave
but
40
she
to her
gave
and
20.
she gave 20 to him. That I'm way jumping the gun on like things, but I look into things. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But I could tell that was potentially the way that he was going, just with like 3 lines of dialogue.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
him saying, "Oh, but your wife."
Your defense was
You know what I'm saying? I was
I
like,
gotta get tested 3.
"What? She what?" I was like, "No, like I paid you."
You said that?
Not like that.
But
But
yeah.
my defense did. My defense was on like ready. Like
Let's go. Let's go.
like as soon as he was like, yeah, went to do whatever play he was gonna do with that. I was
Yeah.
like, nah, the snake behavior.
You can feel it.
Yeah. I
That's crazy.
was like, anything you try to incorporate with her and paying you, I know is 100% bullshit.
Because you paid him?
Because I paid him.
Oh, yeah, you're capping.
Yeah, 100% you're capping. Or like, yeah,
You're dancing right
even
now.
if you're trying to think about going that way, I'm already blocking you down.
Yeah,
Son. Don't run over there. That's a run for loss, son.
Why are you looking over there? Why are you looking over there?
Tackle for loss, bro. I got him.
Damn, bro.
But yes, it's important to be able to do that. I ain't trying to do that with everybody all the time or ever.
No.
I'd rather not.
I'd rather not.
If I ever had the option to choose in social interactions, I'd rather not ever have to call anyone out for anything.
True.
But like, you have to be able to, and then whenever you do, you have to be able to do it well, ideally.
Or it won't work.
Yeah, or it won't work.
It won't work, and you need it to work. You need it to not only do you need it to work, but you need it to work sexy. So that way you don't look like
make it look sexy.
You need to make it look sexy, because if you don't, then like it won't be an admirable trait. It's like this confrontation is important, but if you do it like a dickhead, then like it'll deter people from doing that in the future in their own regard, in their own right, because you gave them a bad example of it. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about how it's like a necessary thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an important skill.
So it's like sometimes it's like
skill, yeah.
But also sometimes it's just like people's bullshit. Sometimes I'm just like hard no, just like stiff arm. I could be hungover at work and someone says some shit. I'm just like stiff arm. What the fuck?
No,
I'm like never hungover at work, but I'm just saying you could have me arm tied, one leg behind my back. Sometimes people just be bullshitting.
Trying to do whatever for social placement.
Yeah.
They want people to like them.
Yeah. They
want people to have a nice story for them in the storybooks that everyone has. You know what I'm saying? Like in the index, everyone has like a Pokedex. But like instead of Pokemon, it's like humans.
Yes.
It's like I want my bio in their Pokedex of me to be nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Or to say whatever.
Yeah,
to say whatever.
Sure. However they want to be identified.
Yeah. What kind of Pokemon do I think I am myself? The coolest one.
Exactly. People are fucking crazy. I am people. Well,
yeah,
I'm crazy.
We're part people. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm not so much like that anymore.
No, I feel like it's very common in high school because like you're trying to figure out what you are and trying to figure out who you are.
Fair.
So like I think that's like probably the time in life when you're doing that the most. It's like whenever you're like growing up through like 15 to 21.
Yeah.
Like those 6 years of your life, you're probably like growing up and becoming who you are more than any other 6-year span in your life. Yeah. I guess maybe 22 to 28.
It's two different phases of it, right?
Yeah, I guess there's like two different phases because it's like you have to grow up once and then you have to evolve.
Golly, then you're running.
Yeah, then you're running.
Yeah.
Then you're really like, then you at that point, hopefully you've like through your growing up and evolving, you should have leveled up enough to have a nice solid foundation of beliefs to grow, like to progress through life with.
That's our experience for sure. That's and that's as far as we can tell because we don't have any more past that yet. But yeah, no, I agree with you to the max. Because like in high school, you have to figure out who you are.
Even what you like, what you're good at. You know what I'm saying? Do you like playing music? Do you like doing sports? Do you like debate club or whatever? Are you good at math? Are you trying to go to like a good college? Do you want to pursue academics at a high level?
I don't know. I was figuring some of that out in high school. A lot of it I was still just like the chains of influence, you know? Like definitely going to college, definitely trying to be a banker, be a high shot investor. Wolf of Wall Street, you know what I'm saying?
We're going Wall Street, let's go.
Come on. Because that seemed hard. You know what I'm saying? I guess everybody's still like that to a degree. But I think the coach is to like just be genuine. And that's hard to figure out how to do. It's hard to figure out how to be genuine. But I think it's like what you know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Because
you don't know what that is yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're figuring out who this character is like as you're playing them to some degree. I
don't like it when people are disingenuous, but it's a tough ask to ask someone to actually be genuine. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that like strife or like the juxtaposition of that makes me want to give people a break more times than not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think because also the ability to be genuine, I think it kind of stems from maybe I think it's your maybe not disproportionate, but like inversely proportionate to your like insecurity. You know what I'm saying? If you're like super insecure, you can't really be genuine. Because you're trying to like, I guess insecurity is like the idea of you're not good enough, or you're trying to like, you know what I'm saying? You're like want to put like mask it up or dress it up or whatever,
to hide that thing that you don't like about yourself.
Yeah, like the core thing of whatever it is, you try to dress it up or try to change it and contort it to present it as a different thing, because you don't think the way it is by itself is like good enough or whatever self-conscious variant you have of.
Also, we aspire to be something, right? So like also if you're not enough, if you don't like what you are right now, hopefully you have an ideal image of what you would want to be, I guess. So then you're trying to like project that, right, instead of what you are. But the crazy thing is that I think we're all like have role models, and we're all trying to like be something in a sense, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you genuinely try to be something without like being gross about it? You know what I'm saying?
Or like just straight up copying or like
Straight up-
mimicking.
Yeah, straight up mimicry, or also how to like not be so self-conscious in that process. You know what I'm saying? Like hiding something in the process of trying to be something else, like you're talking about. Because dressing up, that thing like you're talking about, that's super common. I think that's like you were touching on hot truth right there, bro.
Yeah, genuine, or what we're talking about, being genuine and being insecure.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to be insecure, or it's hard to be genuine
if
super
you're insecure,
It's
because
like they're like inversely proportional.
you're not being you. You're more hiding what you are. It's like the opposite of being what you are.
Yeah, be genuine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think, and yeah, I guess you were saying it's so to give slack to people, and because yes, I think it's super easy to be insecure. I think we're kind of like born that way.
Yeah, I was super insecure as a kid.
I was super insecure.
Yeah, I'm not
super
like
insecure
was not immune to that.
Nah, yeah, I think everyone has their insecurities for whatever reason. Whatever reason life has given you.
I think it's an attractive trait when someone handles their insecurities well. I think that everybody likes that in a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, someone maybe who's like, and aware. I guess you have to be able to incorporate your insecurities well. You have to be aware of what they are. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or be accepting and know what they are.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Mm.
And self-aware enough to know that you're struggling with not being okay with those things, and maybe everyone's just struggling with that
okay.
also, and that's okay. Yeah, yeah.
And that's okay.
Grace has that figured out to the max. She's like zen of that cape.
Nice.
But, and yeah, I didn't get it at first because I'm like, when I was young, I'm like, we're not good enough, like obviously, right? Because we're not in the NFL. So we're going to keep working on it until we're in the NFL. And then, like, we'll go from there. But Grace was always more like, no, like, we're good enough. Like, in the sense of, like life is really hard. And, like, I don't know how to explain it. She just has that zen about, like, not being self-conscious. But not because she works so hard to not be self-conscious. Not being self-conscious because she just, like, thinks everyone is good enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's true. That's like an underlying truth. Like, you're already here. You know what I'm saying? It's like maybe to even make it in here, you have to like pass some sort of test or something. Who knows?
Maybe. Or fail. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
That's how I think about it. Sometimes I feel like I'm paying for a life of crime.
We're doing another stint. Gotta do another bit on Earth.
No, but this life is sweet to me. It's hard to think God ain't, I don't know, like watching the shit close, you know?
Yeah, it could be sweet. It could be super sweet.
Yeah.
So joyous.
And I think the other thing is like, I think life is like it's like 80% hard work, 20% good times. And then like part of life is putting that on its head where you get the 80% good times, 20% hard work. And like life isn't super and crazy enjoyable all the time. But once you cross that threshold, all of that time you spent in the other 80-20 becomes so like golden in your mind because you crossed over the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
So like now, yes, it's pain. But like at 40 years old, it's like, you're like, I love life. Life is so crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All of that was so worth it.
Yeah.
All of that was so worth it.
And then like getting to that point is like part of the risk that like, it's like life is only like, dude, fucking Vegas makes money because gambling is fun. Like life is super worth it because like it is a gamble. Like that is like part of what the maximum enjoyment process is like having made it through all of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that shit is beautiful.
Yes.
It also makes me think gambling's not so bad.
It's fun. It's fun.
But the danger of not making it to that point, or like, because if we knew from the beginning what your whole life was going to be, it wouldn't be as enjoyable. Just like if you went to Vegas and knew you were going to make money, it wouldn't be as enjoyable.
Yeah, or you can't watch a movie or watch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to watch a movie. The spoilers exist. Don't spoil it for me. I want to go through the finding out. The finding out's the fun part.
Yes, bro.
That's the best part.
Yeah, so that's what I'm telling myself anyways, you know? Whenever it gets tough.
Though. That's just facts, dog. That's just facts. I remember saying something like that to Mike about Vegas. I was like, the possibility of losing is what makes it fun. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go there knowing you're only gonna win, it's gonna be fucking lame.
It would be lame.
There'd be no story. It'd be
That's
super
what I'm
boring.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
He's like, that's deep. That's some good shit.
He's got a little gold over there.
That's a gold nug. That's a gold nug for like a little 20-something-year-old.
Yo, Mike's a gem. He's fucking crazy.
He is funny.
He's
That's
like
my stepdad.
Yeah, I talked to him at the Super Bowl party, and he was just going in. I was like, he's going in there.
He doesn't even know you, bro. He can go like, nah, okay, no, he knows you, but like he doesn't have to know you to go in a conversation for like an hour. It's like straight, bro.
That's tight.
He's one of those people.
That's tight.
He's
it's tough.
He's a talker. He's a talker.
It's tough because like I wanted to like validate his in because like he was just by going in. I'm saying nobody knows what that means. Sorry, but
it's another multi-use word.
Yeah.
Multiple uses.
I'm not gonna overly describe it, but I just feel like he was being like a well of truth. Like everything he was saying in that like 10-minute conversation that we had in the kitchen. Because I was trying to go back to watching the game, so like 10 minutes was kind of
the Super Bowl.
10 minutes was like a long time.
It's a good one too.
Yeah, for sure. So like, but he was like everything he was saying was a gem. It was all gold nuggets. I could remember what we're talking about if I thought about it long enough, but I wanted to validate that. I wanted to be like, yo, this is gas. Get a podcast. I'll give you a lot of viewership. You know what I'm saying?
I'd watch this.
That guy is deep. We should have lunch with him sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, he was talking about the authority you have in a moment. He's like, this is crazy. He's like, in any given moment, if you stand up and say the truth, the whole world stops moving. Like, and everything bends for you if you're telling the truth. Like the whole scene, the landscape can open up like the Red Sea,
bro.
For real.
Part the seas like Moses, cuz.
For real.
Whoa.
When you're telling the truth, and it's like
Yes.
really hard to stand up and say the truth, but when you do, like the whole room will like step aside. And then I was just like, yes, it's in my heart.
Amen, brother.
Testify. I think, and it's just like that confrontation that you were talking about with that dude right there. Like, if a whole room of people would have been watching him try to take advantage of you, and you stood up and were like told the truth like that, even though it was like hard to do, everyone would have like the whole situation would have gone from you being potentially taken advantage of to like everyone on your side.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the swing that Mike was describing is like, it's like sometimes you're locked in a box and you're like, someone's taking advantage of you or like this situation isn't beneficial to you and it's like unfair. But then like you just stand up and say the truth, like to whoever needs to hear it. And then like the whole thing opens up and you can get like the energy moving again.
Yeah. Or flowing in the right direction or flowing in a direction that's more
conducive to your input.
Yeah, not beneficial per se, but more in line with what you're trying to do or like what your intentions are, your frequencies.
Because there should be a way for us all to win together.
Yes.
That's the underlying principle that makes that work.
I think the win-win-win exists.
It does exist.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
And that's what, if you always ask for the win, that's what truth, like, is in the vein of the reality where everyone's playing win. So, like, anytime you're, like, not in that situation of win, and then you have if you can articulate why you're not and how it could be, like, no one's going to deny you. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. Because that would make them wrong. It would bring them about bad karma if they were to deny you. And if a man that has a code won't be able to do that. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, it's like, this is how you win, this is how they win, this is how I win. And
yeah.
It's like, would you I guess proceed? And it's like, yeah, and to say no
to that, to disagree to that, and to then
out of
consciously
spite or out of whatever reason you got,
be a tyrant, like
for control.
Yep, that would tear down your own
idea.
Home. Oh yeah, damn, that's deep.
It wasn't my idea.
That's what a lot of motherfuckers.
It's like no. It's like you write that down. Implement my new idea.
Dude, that's not like something we deal with very much, but that's out there. That's out there for real.
Like that got me thinking. Like yesterday, I had this crosses like another stream of thought that I had with like a Game of Thrones. It's like you haven't seen it yet, but like one truth that I love in that show is like the idea that the narrative. The narrative is the reality, you know what I'm saying, versus the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're in control of the narrative, then like the truth doesn't matter as much. You know what I'm saying? Or like it does, or like.
Well.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to watch it. I don't want to spoil anything.
The truth comes through. I imagine.
Yeah.
You can only hold the narrative so long.
Yeah, you can't hold it. Yeah, you can't bend reality in your favor.
Forever.
Yeah, forever.
You can't.
You can't do it. It'll snap back on you.
Yeah. That's why a lot of times I just be chilling. I just want to chill. I don't want to have to be the confrontation point because nature will take its course. But part of the thing that will make your energy accelerate is if you love yourself. And then part of loving yourself is standing up for yourself. So like if you won't stand up for yourself and you're going to wait for nature to take its course, then like that's not conducive to your storyline. So I wouldn't deem that action favorable. You know what I'm saying? The thing you should be doing is standing up for yourself so you can charge up your energy so that you can, I don't know what you're trying to do, be a high vibration individual.
Yeah. Or maybe like at some point you need to, like God knows, like at X amount of years down the road, you're going to need level 50 confrontation to do this quest that's really important for you.
Yeah, to keep your kids or something.
To continue you on your, you know what I'm saying? If you're trying to do your best, whatever, like you need to be able to do this quest at this certain times. And in order to do that quest, you need this certain skill at this certain level. So you need to like train that level now. I'm gonna give you a whole bunch of like little monsters to fight. But like if you don't fight the monsters and you don't do the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, like the lowest level of confrontation that you can manage at that point, then like you'll never build up to the level 50 confrontation of like being able to tell your boss or tell someone, no, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not going to sign that contract.
Yeah.
Or like, there might be all the pressure in the world to say something that you disagree with, you know?
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not going to take that job. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Whatever confrontation, whatever no you need to give to somebody.
Yep. Yeah. There's no telling. There's that part. The other flip of that coin is some people think that like by being confrontational, you're bringing more confrontation into your life because you're living on that energy. But I just think that's wrong because... For a while, my brain agreed with that in the sense with guns. Check me out.
Okay.
This was a big conflict in my mind. I wanted to get it strapped because...
Understandable.
Dangerous world.
Yes.
I love you to death, dog.
I get it.
Someone tries to kill you, I want you to shoot him in the fucking face. I need you coming home. You know what I'm saying?
If anyone's trying to try any of us...
I need you coming home. But my brain was thinking, like, I honestly don't think that we need that. Like, I think that, like... I genuinely think that we could talk ourselves out of most situations. Also, we can say the truth. I can I'll put the situation on the head on this guy that's robbing me, dog. Be like, dude, you're not getting away with this. Like, first of all, I know there's cameras here. Like, I don't know you, but I could describe you. I wouldn't if you don't want me to, but like, talk to me here, bro. Like, why are you even doing this? Like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I could I would find the right thing to say.
I would hope. You better hope. You better hope to God you find whatever sentence you need to construe to reason this man off the ledge that he's already jumped off of. Which is robbing your ass.
Okay, but I'm also charged by the belief that, like, dog, I'm not carrying a gun so that I don't kill you. Like, that's part of it is, like, I would be charged by that emotion of, like, you're trying to save this guy's life right now. You chose not to have a gun because you thought you could talk to him.
This is your gun.
That's what I'm saying. I'm the instrument. God is the shooter. He'll tell me what to say. But then I got that money stolen out of my wallet. And I was like, yo, sometimes people will just run up on you when you don't expect it. For real.
Bro, it's funny. Partially what makes me say that is because Victoria, my girlfriend, whenever we're scrolling through Instagrams at the end of the night, before we start watching TV, before the end of the night, we like our pre-night ritual. She's watching like usually some murder shit on Facebook.
I see a lot of fight
on
shit
some random murder shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like the assailant just broke into the home. Forced. Those
24-hour documentaries.
Yeah. Forced entry. It's like empty 9 rounds. It's like you're not talking to that guy for doing that. That guy's just doing it, bro. He's just robbing your ass, bro.
Maybe I can be like, bro, you look like you hadn't eaten, bro. I got leftovers, dog. It's like,
I got food for
bro,
you.
like, come on, man. Like, what's your favorite?
Man.
Let's share favorite Bible verses, bro. Come on. Do you make hip hop? Like, we could do rap. We could have a feature.
Yes.
Win. Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
But yes, I do agree with you in the sense. I think the ideally you would never need a gun. You would never need one. Because I do think that yes, there is. I think you can solve conflicts without physical altercations or escalated physical altercations. But reason should be enough if you want to really get to the root of what the hell's going on. But some people don't want to hear reason.
Reason should be enough.
Some people don't want to talk it out.
Sometimes it's just like a fuck you thing. You know what I'm saying?
That too, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, for real. I feel like sometimes I go through waves where I'm reaching a new pinnacle of how fucking I'm crazy, right? But like how high my vibration is, my frequency is, and I reach like a new peak, and like every time I get to like a new peak, the amount of like fuck you energy that comes my way like hits a spike for a little bit, and it comes back down. But I think it's just in nature with like my threshold went up, so then it's like I got a little bit more hate, and then it dies away, and then I stay here until I get to like the next threshold, and it spikes, and then it comes back down like that. It's just like a pattern I've noticed. Or maybe it's not hate, but maybe it's just, it feels like negative energy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because I'm so happy that, like, things are going well, that, like, some people don't get, like, happy with me. They're like, oh, fuck that guy, man.
I'm trying to send you negative.
Same thing when you see any rich person on the internet. Sometimes you're like, that guy's dope. Sometimes you're like, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a douche.
I mean, you shouldn't say fuck that guy very much. You know, it should be like...
You should be careful with your words.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially with what kind of energy you have and stuff like that, but...
Yeah, I remember thinking about that because, I guess, the idea that, like, words are more weight than you notice or than you can really account for. But it's like, because I remember Joe Rogan was talking about Louis C.K. maybe, about Twitter and the idea of, like, just talk being a thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, like, it's like whenever it's written down, it seems more
it's not bullshit.
real, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's more hurtful. Then it's like talking shit. It's like, oh, fuck that guy. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's like, no, I think what it is that, like, it's not just talk. I think it's just like that just really shines a light onto how powerful even just talk is. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere that you think or speak is like more weight, carries way more weight than you
Because it's like, what are you reflecting? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you say fuck that guy, it's like, what's the motive behind that?
Especially if you choose to say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Choosing to say something is the whole thing. Because you, like, thoughts are always going on in your head. There's always voices competing for the front runner and competing for the voice that's listened to. You know what I'm saying? There's, like, the voices that are, like, the most consistent, the loudest, and, like, the one that wins.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not, like, all different.
Different categories. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I feel that. I literally feel it in my head. Because there's been like...
I feel all of them. All of them.
There's a change in the dominance hierarchy. Like, there's...
Yeah, and it goes through changes moment by moment.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm with that to the max. But that's also, I think one of the reasons why you got to be careful when you're saying, like fuck anybody. Is because, like, if that person's doing well and you're saying fuck them because they want to do well and you want to do well, it's like, that's a self-contradiction. So, like, you need to get that out of your code as a person, just like as a rule of thumb, get self-contradictions out. But then also, like, sometimes it's just like you can figure out what made you mad about that person is something going on inside of you, and like you could take that moment to like figure out what it was that angered you and then like try to remedy that thing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just like, I didn't like that he was so thin, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh, well, just like apply more diet or apply more workout. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a thing you can fix. But also, like, if you are just hating on thin people all the time, or it's like, I always hate that because I don't do anything about it. It's like, it's just like telling you something about yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a warning signal's going off, telling you to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It used to happen to me with rich people. I used to be like, fuck that dude. Like, he's got money. It's probably really easy. You know what I'm saying?
Must be nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Must be nice, rich guy.
For sure. And then, like, I kind of got, like, pretty in my life. And then people would be like, must be nice.
Must be nice, pretty guy.
Be all symmetrical and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nice jeans, bitch.
And then I was like, it doesn't really do anything for me, to be honest. Like, I still have to do all the shit.
I still live.
Like, I still have to
exist and do all the existing shit.
I feel like rich people probably feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
I still have to do all the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't...
And sometimes, it comes with the knowing expectation that people do think that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, right.
Like, people think it's supposed to be easy for me.
Lauren was at the bar talking about if you had $1 billion, nobody would ever love you for you. It'd be, like, impossible for someone to just, like, love you for you as a person unattached to that money. Because they would know you as the billionaire. It'd be like, there'd be no separation of your individual personality versus, like, someone who has money.
I guess in this scenario and situation, hypothetically, they meet you after you've acquired the $1 billion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a...
But I think she was saying that even people before, you would be worth too much.
Nah.
Nah. I think in your situation, it's different, right?
I think my mom would treat me exactly the same if I was a billionaire.
Yeah, she must have been talking about post-billions.
Yeah, it has to be. My girl, treat me exactly the same.
I think she was talking about because I am single, so we were talking about girls. So then we're talking about at least you don't know how to billionaire. Because, like, if you have all the money.
If you were to meet somebody who is a billionaire, it would be really, really hard to disassociate, I think.
Because I think you would just think of them as someone who makes $1 billion. Like, their personality was always someone who was worth a beat.
They're money.
You know?
they're just money, dog.
But some billionaires are probably not money. Like,
no, they're probably not money in a lot of senses.
Yeah.
They might be good or acquired their wealth through whatever thing they're good at.
Do you think more millions of dollars gets made or more millions of dollars gets passed down? That's an interesting thought, too.
So you're saying, the question is, do people pass more money down than generate, just like in general?
That's a different question. That's a good question too. But the question more specifically this time was like, do you think more millionaires, like millionaires, are made by inheritance or made by
making the $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, because it might be inherited. There's probably billionaires with billions of dollars,
right?
Who would be handing out millions of dollars like they're fucking hotcakes.
Twix bars on Halloween. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No, here's a mill. Light mill.
That's what I would be like.
If you have multiple billions of dollars, you can hand away mills. Like,
dude, like to your best friends, people. To your dad.
Not even feel it. If you have $4 billion, you can hand 200 M's away and not even remember. You're saying you made 200 millionaires. You're saying,
that's what I'm saying. That's so exponentially because of the way money works. Probably more millionaires didn't make their million. I don't know, slaving over the hard idea or whatever.
Or maybe I guess could we include like investor money into that as well? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm thinking too, right? Is like someone with $1 million could invest. Oh wait, well.
Or like somebody like didn't have the money themselves, but were able to get $1 million loan from a billionaire or whatever, and then that was able to make them a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's like, is that inheritance or like did they make the money themselves? You know what I'm saying?
Nah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm talking about self-made millionaires versus all other millionaires.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Truly self-made. No, I didn't take out a loan. Didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, like they are money.
I did the fucking thing. I'm Patty Mahomes.
Those guys get the clout.
I'm Patty Mahomes.
For sure.
That's clout. That's clout worthy.
I think that number's pretty small.
I think it is very small.
Very small.
I think it's small.
I think a lot of people, it's probably 20%.
You need to borrow money. You need to know people.
Golly, dude.
Maybe you don't need to, but like.
But you do.
You know.
You do. What are you going to...
It plays a role. You can tell me that, like, we're social creatures. Come on. It should play a role. Obviously, it doesn't play a role. We're social animals.
I mean, don't act like that's an easy thing to say. That's such a bold statement. I think it's true as fuck. That's where like of course comes from. But it's crazy that you have of course with that.
Of course.
Of course we're social creatures. Of course you have to network to make your money. Golly, that's a nut statement. Because it doesn't seem like that. Because you can't social network your way into a healthy lifestyle.
Into truth.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I guess maybe you could. I don't know, because I think the true understanding of something comes from within. I can't make you understand something. Or like truly grasp something, you know what I'm saying?
True. But you're right about them. You're so right. It's crazy though that we're social creatures. It makes sense to look. My dad said this about the Bible though. He said the Bible was supposed to be received by a body of people, so that a body of people could, like, what would you call it? What's the D word? Debate more or less, like their own interpretations of what they heard, so that they could find the meta truths for their culture, based on like. If you read the Bible, if you're in culture and you read the Bible for yourself, and then you go into culture and you're like, I read the Bible, it's not as good as if you went to church and then like read the Bible with all 200 people that are in your like community, and then y'all like talked about it and then found like the meta truths that you agreed upon. Like that's the aim. You know what I'm saying? And then why? Because we're social creatures. That's what my dad said.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, you just pulled like super high level wisdom out of the air. Jesus, man. But we are like. You would think that we're not, but we are. Yeah, also, truth is like, one thing about truth is, I don't know, man. Do you think that you could be a truth tyrant?
I guess in what way? Like a teacher?
Like, for instance, like, well, yeah, well, I don't know.
Are they truth tyrants?
Some of the English teachers are, right?
Kinda.
Some of them were. I'm trying to think here. Like, here's an instance when I could have been a truth tyrant was like when... Like, your mom maybe could have won our fantasy football league.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, my dad was kind of like, I think the right thing to do is to not be, like, doing all that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I guess. He made sense. He was like, sometimes people are just trying to, like, be casual social creatures. They're not trying to, like, live by the knife of the edge of the law. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're playing a casual game.
Edge.
Yeah, don't make them live on the razor's edge for this casual game they signed up for. And I was like, okay, understandable. Like, I'll take your advice. But also, like, I think if you call everybody out all the time for all of their bullshit, nobody's gonna wanna not be on their bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way to, like, be confrontational and stand up for truth, but, like, there's also a way to do that where you become a tyrant. That's why you need the social aspect of the nature of each other to, like, make sure that the waters are good, that you're not, like, going overboard, or, like, that you're within the balance. You know what I'm saying? Because
not trying to do too much or trying to control too much of the situation.
Yeah, or being too much of a tyrant over yourself either. Like, that social aspect. Alone in a room, I don't know. You could be a crazy person. The truth can make you a crazy person alone in a room. You need the truth with other people. That's what makes the truth the truth.
Yeah.
Something like that.
At least definitely within our, like, living in the same world, like science, you know what I'm saying? We need to, like, I think this thing. It's like, okay, can you test also to see if you also get the same thing that I got? Okay, that's a true thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To help validate, like, what we think's going on here.
Yeah, to help find objectivity.
Yeah.
You can't have objectivity by yourself.
You can't.
And that's kind of what truth is used for, so that we can see more and, like, not be so lost in this world.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. That's some insight right there. So the social aspect of our life is important. It is important.
It is.
It'd be easier if it wasn't. But I'm also, like, not antisocial, but, like, introverted. So being out all the time is, like, exhausting. But some people get charged up by that. Those people are fucking lucky.
Yeah, it's trippy, bro. I was thinking about that, talking to Victoria about that the other day. It's like, I'm definitely on the introverted side of the spectrum. And it's like, I think I've heard somebody describe introversion and extroversion like you either gain or lose, or, you know what I'm saying, like, energy through interaction with social interactions. They either drain you or, like, fill you and charge you.
Right.
And it's like, so it's definitely both. I'm definitely both, but, like, it's definitely more draining than charging at times.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Even if I'm
the proportion, you know what I'm saying?
Even if I'm having fun in the moment, the recovery time is lengthened by the outing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna pay the price, even if it's not in the moment. I might be having a good time, but, like, also I feel the price of doing that as soon as I get in my car on the drive home. I'm like, okay, like, that was another social workout. I'm, like, more tired than I was when I got there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So extroverted people are kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
But even as introverted people, you need that social scale.
Yeah, I want to see what our time's at.
Yeah, we've been going in.
Change this. Eastern time.
Hour 15.
Okay, yeah, we got like 15 minutes. So within this 15 minutes, I want to talk to you about what's going on with Hogwarts Land.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Well, I just want to keep talking. I want to cover a billion topics in these 15 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know. Just because it's be over, I'm like, oh no. Hogwarts is tight, dude. So the cuts, like...
You had it on PC?
Yeah. Which I didn't really want to do because it felt like it was made for console. I don't know why I felt like that.
PS4 is, like, I think the primary console nowadays for that.
It does feel like the Xbox fell off compared to PS4.
That's what I saw. Yeah, that's what I saw it advertised on.
Really?
On TV one time, yeah.
I think it's... Johnny plays it on that. I think that's, like, the optimized experience.
Okay.
Because it does feel like...
I saw someone play it on Instagram, too, or some shit.
Really?
Yeah.
It's tight. So the opening cutscene, crazy. Like, just how the game unfolds to you, crazy. I was like...
Off the rip tight?
I was in there, bro. Like, instantly, like, oh, shit, this is fucking lit. Let's go. This is tight. I'm ready to go.
JK
got me.
JK Rowling.
You forgot.
Rowdy.
Y'all all forgot.
She going off.
And then, like, it kind of drops you into, like, a dangerous situation. And, like, the story's kind of, like, unfolding on you, kind of, like, rapidly. And then it's dope. Like, you all of a sudden, like, are finding this, like, back way into Hogwarts. So, like, the presupposition for... hold on, scratch that. Let me give you a presupposition first. It's a prequel to Harry Potter. Like, all this is happening before Harry Potter times.
Before Harry Potter times. Okay,
yes. So, it's like Hogwarts Legends is what it's called, right?
I think so.
it's like a reference to like the past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The legends part.
Yeah.
So that's cool for like the lore and stuff like that. But then also like early on, like no spoilers. This is like one of the first things that happens. Like you're going in a back way into Gringotts, into one of like the earliest vaults that they've ever made, and then they're explaining how like the earlier vaults like are different than the other vaults because they're like fucking when Gringotts first got founded, and like all of that backstory and like lore that you're getting from like the prequel to all of that shit, I was like tripping, bro. I was like, yo, this
It's
is
the Harry
gas.
Potter fans off the rip. Within the first 5 minutes, we got you by the balls. We got you by the balls with some nostalgia.
Right where
Nostalgia.
right where they wanted me. What do you want?
Gringotts. Smart.
Thank you.
Within the first, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Yeah. That was really what did it. The first 2 or 3 minutes, I was like gripped.
Opening scene and then right into some nostalgia.
Yeah,
some
it's
back
tight.
lore. That's tight.
It's tight.
Well designed. And now you're going into the...
I just want to tell you, but no spoilers. So
Okay.
No one's gonna watch this. Skip a minute ahead if you don't want to hear the spoilers.
Spoilers, skip ahead at least a minute.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So you're like going to Hogwarts, right?
Okay.
It's like you've been accepted into Hogwarts. Create your character, and the creation
Do you
character.
have any backstory? Sorry. Do you have any backstory before your Hogwarts invitation?
No,
Okay.
I never thought about that, but you don't. It's just like
Okay.
the backstory is you're a 5th year. You didn't get in until your 5th year, so you're not like 10.
Okay.
You're like 15 or 16.
Okay.
You're more of like a adult-ish character.
Okay.
And so your classes are like the 5th year classes too. So that's like the only backstory though. And so
Okay.
he's like, I have to get you caught up to speed before I get you to the castle because you're a little late, you know what I'm saying, being a 5th year. So like you're going to get a little bit of extra training as you go along to try to catch you up.
So in this scenario, you didn't get into Hogwarts for like 4 years?
I guess so.
You just kept on trying? There's like, no.
I think you're like a muggle.
No.
Like you didn't even know you had magic.
No.
Average.
Absolutely not. Let him in. Let him in. Fuck it.
Yeah, something along those lines. I'm humble and grateful for the opportunity. Okay. I'm not going to turn my nose at it as a young wizard.
Yeah, okay, I love it. Yes.
My name is Lectos Asteri.
Okay.
Lectos Asteri. It's Greek for chosen star. Shout out Robbie Anderson.
Love it. Chosen star. I'm so hood.
Yes. I was pretty proud about that. My dad came up with this really clever name, and I was like, I gotta think of a good name here.
He plays too?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he got the game, and he's played it for like 15, like an hour maybe.
Okay.
So we're still right at the intro, but Grace is like crazy deep, my sister.
She's deep.
Yeah. But no spoilers for
She
them.
loves it.
I'm like, don't even talk to me, Grace. But yeah, she said she spent a whole week just like not playing online with anybody. Like she just came home and played Hogwarts Legacy for like all day.
Story mode.
Woke up, went to work, came home, Hogwarts Legacy all day. Like that was the move for about a week. She was like, whoa, I'm losing my, like, where am I?
Where'd time go? What year is it?
What have you guys been doing? They're like, what we do. But so
I get it.
the creative character is dope. The graphics are dope. So you make like a really dope. There's a lot of options and stuff like that. So you can make this like cool looking character. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like taking you to the fucking bro. It's so dope. He's taking you to Hogwarts in this carriage, and you're flying through the air, and you're like going, and then they're like, yeah, man, you know. He's talking to someone else in the carriage. You don't know that guy. And then they're like, sorry, man, we're going to have a private conversation. I got this thing. My wife sent me this. There was no letter attached. She was then killed by the bad guy. Blah, blah, blah. Something about this is important. Can't figure it out. The guy touches it or whatever. And then, like, you say, basically can see that it's glowing and no one else can't. And then you touch it and a key pops out. And they're like, this motherfucker's crazy.
Mm.
And then, like, at that moment, a dragon bites your carriage that's like flying through the air and chomps the motherfucker that your homie was talking to.
Oh no.
Gone.
Aye.
And then like because you just saw someone die, all the thresholds pop up that are carrying the carriage, and that scene's just him, bro. That scene's just him, bro.
Oh, the what pop up?
Like the there's like mythological. They're called like thresholds, I think.
Thresholds.
Thresholds. I can't remember because I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay.
But they're like horses that carry the carriages from the train station to the school, but everyone thinks that the carriages are enchanted to go without a horse, but what really it is that they are horses that you can only see if you've seen someone die. So when Harry sees Cedric die and he goes to school for the 5th year, he sees the thistles because he's seen someone, and he's like, oh my god, I never saw these. And then Luna Lovegood's like, yo, these are Thistles. And then the scene's crazy because you see that dude die, and then the Thistle's like, boo, 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 and the dragon's like, woo, and it's like, oh shit, going clapping off, dog.
That's so tight.
It was, yeah, I was like really sick and felt like dog shit while I was playing it, but like even then I was like, oh my god, this is cool. This is everything.
That's so litty. Oh, that's so cool. That's so crazy too because they wouldn't have hit me like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? That it would have missed me. But I'm sure it would have been a cool scene to watch. But like, see, they you know,
they got me.
They nailed you.
Just right in my chest.
They nailed you. They nailed you deep.
It was nuts. And then the key that I was talking about, like when you fall, you end up in this back way to Gringotts through this shit, and then they're like, do you have the key to the vault? And then they're like, I have a key. Is this the key? And then it's like, it's just, its own story starts unwinding on you too. It's like great writing.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm about it. I got to the point where I'm at Hogwarts. You can like take the classes and stuff. Like it's a lot of it's collectibles. Like you're collecting all these pages for your. It's a really cool like you get a Hogwarts survival guide, and it's like this book you open up with like M. It's like the map button, and it shows you like the map, and you can like fast travel to all the flu powder places, and then it shows you like your spells you learned, and then your like gear and like this whole menu. It's dope. It's dope. Fully Skyrim Hogwarts, it seems like all the way.
All the way.
It's tight.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the world.
I wish I wasn't sick yesterday because I would have played it more, but I was just like, ugh.
A little down. Yeah, that's me too, man. Yeah, that's just lame.
So lame.
It's just lame, bro.
What's up with being sick? What's up with that?
It sucks. It sucks ass, man. No one likes being sick. All you want to be is healthy, or all you want to do is be normal whenever you're sick. You're just like, ugh.
You know what I'm thinking about?
Please.
They don't have like insurance. I guess Geico has insurance if you get sick, or Aflac, right? That's what those commercials were for.
Like, if you get sick?
If you get sick and you miss work, that's just money you lose. That's bullshit. That's bull. They should have insurance. Like that, I pay like $15 a month, but if I get sick for a week, then you pay for that week of work or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't not get sick. How many people do you think work sick? Like percentage of people that.
Percentage of people that have worked when they felt sick, or like
percentage of people who are employed, like have a job.
Have a job.
They have a job.
Got it.
And then they know in their own heart that like when they're sick, they usually go to work. Like they work sick. Like duh, take some Tylenol, go to work sick.
If it's like a 5 or less, like on the intensity scale.
Okay, let's say like. If it's an 8 or higher, probably nobody's going to work, right? Like, if you're not. If you're on your deathbed, so you're not going.
If you feel like dog shit, you're not going into work.
No. But yeah, like that 5 or 6.
But yeah, sometimes it's like a 5 or a 4.5. You're just like, I'm not feeling it today. I'm a little tight.
I'm a little tight today. See, I go to work on those days.
I think if it's a 5 or less, I think probably like 90% of people. Maybe less than that. Maybe like I got to account for some of the bitches. Some people are bitches. They won't go to work if they feel like a 2, bro. They're trying to get out of work.
They're
trying to get out of working hard.
A lot of people are trying to get out of work.
Take that into account. I would say at least 70%. I would say 70% strong.
Yeah, that's a good number. We're hardworking Americans. You know what I'm saying?
Most people, especially if you work in a job where you get paid hourly or you have to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes what are you going to do? You got to pay the bills.
If you get paid on a salary.
See, that's nice.
That's nice. And you have sick days, that's nice.
That's big nice.
But if you don't have sick days and you have to be there to get paid, you're probably going in.
You need the money,
You're probably going in.
It's so tough.
That's rough.
The other thing is, our bosses just don't take no for an answer. Like, you kind of have to. You'd have to be so confrontational to be too sick to work where we work right now. Like, Brandon tried to call in like 2 or 3 times.
He sounded so bad. His voice was so shot. It sounded like he went to a concert and yelled at front row for 4 hours. Like, he tried to come into work the next day.
I was like,
I can't even. How you doing? You sound like dog shit.
Why was this guy working right now?
Why is this guy in the building, man?
Like,
go home.
He's just a model today. Like, you're literally just here to body and a face.
You're just a face. You're no voice today. You're all face and hands. You're all face and hands
all face and hands today. That's it. That's such a tough, man. It's especially because he might be contagious, you know? I don't know how you... I wish there was, like, the way you can test if someone has a fever or the way you can test if someone has COVID. I wish you could, like, test to see if someone was contagious. Because everyone feels bad every day. We all working our ass off, you know? But, like, if you're contagious and you feel like dog shit, there should be some kind of. I bet in Canada or in communist Russia, you get paid for that day. I don't know.
I guess.
But
the state's gonna take care of you.
You also chalk that up to the rat race. There's always a little wiggle room for someone who's willing to work while they're sick. There's always a room for someone who's willing to do more. Okay, now how many years until the do more guy is doing like just insane work? You know what I'm saying?
If you do what?
Okay, so like in American culture, like Jimmy Hustle, the guy that gives like extra effort, he can always climb the ladder because he's working harder than everybody else. But then like that guy eventually becomes someone who's like the standard. So then the next guy has to work harder than the guy who was the guy that was working harder than everybody. And then in like 100 years, American culture might be like, I don't know, there might be no room to. You'd have to literally be living in the facility. You know what I'm saying? Like, you actually have a cot in the storeroom. That would be like grinding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or maybe it's not that there's like a new person that comes in and does it in a new, different way. It's just like maybe like the spirit of that is always ever present. You know what I'm saying? And like,
yeah, true.
The people just change out
in a different way, innovative
over time.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like one person figures out how to give extra hustle and they climb the ladder and then everybody else starts doing it. Like, that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? It's like there becomes like a new norm, and then someone else can climb the same ladder, do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Be the next Jimmy Hustle. That was just an interesting thought I had in my head. I was like, eventually, if you want to be the guy that's doing the most, you're gonna be doing a lot to do the most.
Yeah, or it's like. Yeah, Kobe and Michael Jordan, they probably like worked out just as intensely as each other. Or you know what I'm saying?
True.
It was just a different
different
whatever.
The people at Goldman Sachs right now would argue that they are doing so fucking much you can't imagine. Or like when Ryan was working there, he was talking about like
working like 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah, 78 hours weeks, and like he said most of their apartments were like a TV and a fucking blow up air mattress because
like even studio apartments like half the size of this kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, no one wanted to put any money into their apartment because they were paying so much for it, and because there were such. They're never there.
It's like a Vegas hotel. It's like, what the fuck? I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll stay at the Best Western. I'll stay at America's Best, whatever the hell.
Yeah, never gonna be there, bro. I'm in the casino. Exactly. And then the other thing is they're money guys. All they do is look at numbers all the time. So they're like, I'm not spending money on that shit. You kidding me?
Stupid.
Yeah, what am I, a fucking idiot? I'm gonna live in the office.
Fucking stupid.
I haven't bought my own meal in 3 months.
Yeah. I've been eating leftovers for 5 years. Other people's leftovers. Man, you gonna finish that?
I've been eating leftovers. That's what he said it was like over there. He's like, I had to get out because like all I wanted to do was win. And then it was like the problem with winning that game is it was too much. Yeah.
Everyone's putting in the most. Like probably what you call it, stock or New York, Wall Street, and fucking like Silicon Valley and shit in California.
Yeah, bro.
It's like everyone over there is trying to do the fucking most. Everyone over there is trying to do the most.
I can't imagine. And the PEDs that people will take too. Like I'm not willing to engage in taking like a lot of Adderall or Vyvanse or like cocaine to like be the top of my field. But in Silicon Valley in like the 60s and 70s, they were taking a lot of LSD to be on top of the field.
You got to.
Whenever they were trying to learn how to code computers and shit, they were like trying to think outside the boxes. I guess they were like microdosing a lot.
Figure out. I can't blame them.
I know it probably helped.
I'm sure it helped.
I'm sure it helped
tremendously.
Just crazy to think about, you know what I'm saying? What it takes to be like truly dominant in a field costs a lot.
Costs a lot. Michael Jordan tell you that. For real. Well, shit, bro, you want to outro for the last 20 seconds?
Yeah, we're out here. What do you want to tell the people?
Yeah, bro. Well, that was one. Hopefully you're able to see some of these clips out somewhere on IG or wherever we got these out there. So,
I hope so.
MJ38 on all platforms. Check out the new singles dropping, new music video dropping, new content dropping, new podcast dropping.
New era dropping.
We on and popping.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I love y'all.
Love you. Peace.